This video, I'm going to be talking to you, telling you guys a story, something that took place a long time ago. Now, it's not that long ago that I graduated from high school, but this happened, I believe, a few months after I graduated high school, and I was working in the retail industry. So you know what? Before I get started, of course, that's where you can find me on Instagram, those two handles, and then you can catch me, my videos live stream on these three platforms, or the platforms that I mostly embrace. And you know what? As soon as Instagram, I don't know if they'll allow it or not, but as soon as Instagram allows something like StreamYard or connect OBS to Instagram so I can go live from Instagram, I'm going to be going live from Instagram as well more often. So let me tell y'all, since this is a moment with Veronica, it's story time. This is a pre-recorded video, and so I'm going to be coming in live whenever I stream this video to see who comes in your comments. So I want to thank you if you decide to watch this when this video is live. I want to thank you for watching the replay, because there's power in replay. On the Lady Ball Show, a lot of the views come in on when it's like the replay. I don't know why it's like that, but a lot of the views come in when it's on after the fact. But I still thank God for that, and I thank God for all those who are watching it like all the way through. Thank you. My story and my topic today is why you shouldn't judge the book by its cover. I know it's an old saying. I don't know how old it is, because hallelujah, I'm not that old. But it's an old saying that connects with the topic that I want to talk to with my story. Okay, so now here it goes. I remember I was working at Sears in the shoe department. I worked at Sears twice. The first time was in the shoe department. The second time I worked in the human resources department. So I know about the recruitment process, the do's and the don'ts when it comes to human resources. It's more hands-on. I already knew it from college, because that's one thing I had to take was different supervision and management classes, as well as human resources, as well as business law. I had to take all that in order to get a degree. On a higher level, when you get the master's, you go more in depth with that. But I remember the first time I was working at Sears in the shoe department. I believe if I can remember, my supervisor was Cindy. It ain't too long since I got out of high school. It was me and my another girl I graduated with, Cynthia. I'm not going to, for sake of social media, I'm not going to give her last name. I'm just going to go by first names. And the person I'm going to be talking about, I am not going to give their name at all. But it was this guy in the other Sears location. I believe it was Rocky Mount location, not too far from where I was working at. He's in the shoe department too. I remember one time I called over there. They would call our store, or our store would call their store to see if we had a shoe. That time, think back your retail days. If you didn't have it and the customer didn't want to wait, they didn't want you could order it, but they didn't want to wait. They were like, no, I need it. So they could go to another store and go pick it up, or that store could send it to us, but we would call first. I remember I called the store one day, and the guy that answered the phone, I'm not going to say his name, his voice sounded like it was fine. If I would go back to my mother's time, it sounded like Billy D. Williams. Now, my time, because I'm not from Billy D. Williams' time, glory to God. Let's give God an entire hand clap of praise. If I would, let me see, who has a nice sounding, a man with a nice speaking voice? I know some off the top of my head, but I'm not going to say their names, because for a lot of reasons. But I like that professional speaking voice, that masculine man voice, and they know how to pronounce their words correctly. It sounds so smooth. And I'm trying to think who has that. I can't think of. There's plenty of them in the entertainment industry, but they can't come to my mind off the top of the head. Not necessarily singers. Oftentimes, those who got a nice speaking voice you'd be surprised they can sing a little bit because kind of go hand in hand. Well, I was thinking when I heard this young man, I'm thinking, oh my! I was thinking this man got to be fine. He got to be tall. I mean, tall is major. Look, I'm short. I'm short, so I don't need nothing on my on my. I don't need anything on my level. I'm telling you, we should not be on the same steps because I'm short. Let me tell you how short I am. I think I'm shorter than what they say I am because I have to wear. I always try to get shoes with a little heel to give me an extra boost to look like I got a little height or something. When I take them shoes off, you will be like, what the? Sometimes that's what I do when I go to work. Now, sometimes if I'm not feeling all that well, I'll come in there with flats, and usually people don't pay attention. They don't know. They don't notice the height difference because their focus is on something else. But if you notice the height difference, where it's wait a minute, you a little bit taller. Yeah, it gives me. I always try to look for shoes that give me got some type of heel on it to give me a little boost. It's for short folk. It's like a little booster seat, so you won't look like you're so much on the floor. So I'm thinking this man got to be fine. He over in the other Sears store in the shoe department. So I told my friend Cynthia. I said, Cynthia, he got to be fine. I was asking folk in my current department, have you ever seen such and such? I don't want to say his name. How do you know how he look? Don't nobody know how he look, but they say, oh, I know who you talking about. They be like, yeah, he do sound good, don't it? That bad. So after a while, the guy started talking to me and started developing a conversation on the phone. Lord, I got additional eyes. So developing a conversation on the phone. See, I judge the book by the cover. I judge by his voice. You cannot judge by somebody's voice to determine how they are. You cannot judge by the features in their face, their physique. You can't judge the sound of their voice. You can't trust that. And I'm gonna tell you why. I wonder why sometimes people do like instantly. I learned a long time ago, don't do that. You know what I do? Now, I guess I'm kind of old school. I kind of pick up on I would rather pick up on your vibe, and some people may say your spirit, because your spirit is what's authentic. If I had that mindset then, I'm just coming out of high school. It's like 6 or 7 months later. I think it's not too long since we graduated high school. I'm still getting over the fact that I'm finally done with public school. Whew. I'm done with that. And then my mind is on college. That's why I was in the shoe department at Sears. I ain't thinking about that. Who thinks about that? Some people are in their 30s and 40s and don't even take time and think about that. They just go off the first thing. You can't do that. Don't do that. I wonder why people do that. That's why I don't look at a man's merchandise. I don't look so much at his car and his place, because that's going to tarnish. I don't have to deal with his car and his house or his bank account. I have to deal with him. So that's something, to kind of, you know what I'm saying? So you could be fine as I don't know what, but if your spirit is raggedy, I'd be like, I give you, just give it time. Just give it time. But this young man, I'm thinking he's fine. I'm thinking he's fine like a steak, a well done steak with some steak sauce, some steamed broccoli with some cheddar cheese and mashed potatoes on it, and some sweet tea. Fine like some 2 grilled pork chops with some apples, some little apples with cinnamon on the side, and some string beans. I'm thinking he fine like that fine. Honey, let me tell y'all. Let me tell you, sir. I said, Cynthia. She said, yeah. I said, girl, I don't want to meet the young man by myself now. It was during the day. Late, the early 2000s. We graduated, May? Early, yeah, somewhere like, it was some years ago. Don't call me old. The devil is a lie. The devil is a liar all the way through. But I said, Cynthia, come over there with me. See, we had like these little retail part-time jobs. We had time on our hand. She's like, okay, I come there with you. We went over there talking. I drove. I remember. And when we got there, this was during the time in Rocky Mount, the mall was jumping. I don't know what happened now. But the mall was jumping back then. So Sears was in the mall. And we went in there. We went to the shoe department. I didn't see him at first. Lord have mercy. I'm going to be as truthful and try to be as nice as possible because this is social media. We sat down in the chair, me and Cynthia, we were just talking, having a talk. And all of a sudden, I saw something come from the stock room. I saw something come out from the stock room and went over there real quick. I said, what is that? I said, somebody, they went back and told him I was there. I said, well, Cynthia, what is that? She said, oh my goodness. Let me make sure I don't go long. That young man. That young man was nothing. They did not look nothing like I imagined. He had a nice voice. It was him. But let me tell you, what came out of the stockroom was not a Billy D. Williams. It was not a Jamie Foxx. It wasn't a Denzel Washington. I mean, y'all awful ladies, just think of a man who has that nice speaking voice. And let's hope he's tall. Now, not all men going to be tall. Everybody's not the same size. Everybody's not going to be tall. Everybody's not going to be slim. Everybody's not going to be muscular. I know that. But you have your preference. Since I'm short, you got to have some height with you. Well, this that came out stockroom. He was a few inches shorter than me. I said, wait a minute. I said, wait a minute. We have a little problem. That was the first thing. I thought he was tall, judging off of his voice. Can't do that. See, I always like the one, if I'm short, the Lord knows this, I really need for you to be like, you ain't gotta be an oak tree. That's like real, not like Shaquille O'Neal tall. That's like, whoa. I would need a ladder. That's like, for me, that's really tall. But I need to be able to look up, not me looking like, we like eye to eye, or you like a few inches, but, and I'm already short. I'm like, okay, I'm looking at him like, where's the rest of them? And then, not only that, he didn't look nothing, I don't want to call him ugly. I don't want to call him ugly. But how can I be nice? It just wasn't my cup of tea. It wasn't my cup of coffee. It was not a white chocolate mocha with 2 pumps of vanilla with a light caramel drizzle and whipped cream on top. It wasn't a grande. It wasn't that. It just wasn't my style. It wasn't what I imagined. And so I think he kind of understood. Can I tell you, how can I put it? I told Cynthia when we left, when Cynthia saw him, we're real young. She got up and she looked at me. And she said, Veronica, he don't look that bad. Honey, his hair. I remember his hair was like, there was something going on with his hair. I'm like, what kind of style was he trying to portray with that haircut? I know it wasn't a high top, because high tops went out of style before I graduated high school. I thought it did. He had his hair looked like it was out of control. And then how can I say it? I said to my friend, I said at the time, I said, you know what? I said he's not ugly, but he's just not my cup of tea. You know that does. I'm not awakened by his appearance. I was judging the book by the cover by his voice. See, that's like right after high school. You live and you learn. To me, how can I describe to you all how he looked? What did I'm gonna be honest. This is what I told her. I said, girl, he looked like. Oh, I told my supervisor too. Her name was Cindy, because she didn't know how he looked either. She said, well, how he look? I said, I can't get it out. I said, he looked like an anteater and a mosquito put together. I said, oh, she just bust out laughing. She just like, oh my God. I said, now that was probably me. I didn't tell him that. I didn't act mean around him. That's not nice. But I told her, I said, but it just wasn't not my cup of tea. Some people look at me and be like, well, Veronica, just not my cup of tea. That's fine. Lord, if that ain't it, then show me what is. See, I'm older now. Okay, you know, because I'm not skinny and I'm kind of short, but I always like the tall ones. I always like the ones that got height. That's kind of tall. I don't care if you're tall and your spirit raggedy. I ain't studying that. Chow. If your spirit raggedy, you could be good looking, and your spirit could be something that fell out of hell. You know, on a fourth floor. I will look at you and be like, what the hell going on? Because I'll be like, that must have came out of hell. No, you can keep that. That's trouble. Don't nobody want someone that's fine, but you're trouble. Don't nobody want someone that's average and you're trouble. No one wants that. But this young man, he told me now, he looked at me and he said, you know what, you are really pretty. I said, well, thank you. and I was like, I was trying not to be mean, but I was like, at that moment, it's like a little blind date thing. It wasn't a date, but just envision it as a blind date. Honey, I thought it was going to be a steak dinner. Got there, it turned out to be a Wendy's Junior Bacon Cheeseburger. With a small vanilla frosting. I said, what? And then he touched my shoulder. I remember. I said, ooh. I was startled. I was quite startled by the touch. I sure was. Because I was looking at his hair. I said, the hair, when I look at you from head to toe. And I go through my next level of examination. But his hair was out of control. It was out of control. I said all that to say this. Sometimes, I mean, if you are currently judging the book by the cover, a lot of us do. Because what they say, another old saying, you know, the first impression, the first time you meet someone, the first 5 seconds. Some say the first 10 seconds. Some say the first 3 seconds. They form an impression of you. I can't. To me, that's judging like real quick. You're judging the book by the cover. How you know somebody in 5 seconds and 10 seconds and 3 seconds? How you know? The only way you know, you must be faster than God. You're faster. Oh, God just showed you in 3 seconds. You would never. How do you know? You be careful how you judge folks by their voice. I was real young. I'm older now. You could sound fine on the phone now. I'll be like, okay. Let me get around you. and then you can pick up and sense and feel. Then, if you haven't, I hope that you do. I hope that you start, because it will help you make better decisions. You can't judge somebody by their the level that they're currently on. Simply because just because you see them down or on a level today, they could change later. God could come in and bless them. Just because you think you're stopping them now, you don't know. That person could end up being someone kind of a superstar. It could be major. Or they could be, they may end up being your manager one day. You never know. You never know what that person will eventually become. So make sure you don't do it like I did. Don't judge the book by the cover. I share that little story because I learned. I said, don't do that. I learned even I see those fine ones. They're tall with muscles. I be like, oh, good God Almighty. First thing I say is, when God made man. But I still don't be so quick to judge them, because he could be just as raggedy. That's why I be like, I sometimes just be like, okay. All you gotta do is wait a while. It'll come out. You'll see for yourself. So look, I hope you enjoyed that little story of mine. No, I didn't call him ugly, but he was just like, how many people have you met that you've seen that's just not your cup of tea? How many people looked at you and said you're not their cup of tea? And if you're not their cup of tea, then I was like, well, Lord, what else you got? Where's the ram in the bush? Where's the ram in the bush? I don't lay on that. Now, back in the day, when I just came out of high school, I did. And even some years later, I had to learn not to do that. So listen, down below, I also have a podcast. I forgot to mention that last time. It's Cultivating the Luxe Lifestyle Podcast. It's on all podcast platforms. You know what? When you see this picture, if you do decide to search for it, you found the right podcast. And this has been A Moment with Veronica. I hope you'll enjoy the rest of your weekend. And yeah, you will see this face again, because I may go live to talk about something. I don't want to tell you. You got to find out. Smooches, everybody. Thank you for